Wolfpack Nation. Welcome to an exciting episode of Tuffy Talk here. I know I say that every single time, but I know for me that this guest that we have on with us, for a lot of NC State fans, should be a name that should be synonymously known throughout Wolfpack Nation. And if you don't know at this point who this is here with me, then I highly suggest you know soon, because in my opinion, I can easily make a case that she's not only one of the most talented players that State has ever had, but also maybe one of the most important players in women's tennis history. And that is the one, the only ALANA Smith. So, ALANA, thank you so much for joining us here today. Really do appreciate your time.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, I know, ALANA, that obviously, everything I said there in terms of one of the most talented, one of the most important is a big thing to say for sure. But, just to go ahead and just kind of, for all those State fans wondering, like, why are you making such a bold statement right there? Obviously, we'll talk about the records and things like that. But, obviously you came in during a time where State women's tennis was definitely not what it is now. And, you were definitely one of the pieces that had to buy into, the vision that Coach Earnshaw had for this program. And, they always say, you want to leave something better than you found it. And there's no doubt you've taken it up a couple notches at women's tennis for sure. So it's gone up a notch or two for sure. Obviously, leading up to this national championship appearance in the first ever ACC championship, program history. So we'll dive more into that. But tell me, what kind of comes to your head when you hear things about that in terms of how much this program has changed, thinking about that moment when you first told Coach Earnshaw you're coming to Raleigh. It has to be a undescribable feeling for sure to think about, taking that chance, and man, has it paid off since.
Yeah, no, I remember during my whole recruiting process, I think when I would go to tournaments after I did commit to State, people were like, oh, like NC State, like really? And I was just like, yeah, like I came on it's funny because I only took a visit at State, and I kind of just canceled all my other ones and kind of committed. Like everything just felt right when I came on my visit. So yeah, no, it's great to hear though when because obviously like Simon did say a lot of things, like he wanted to change the program around and everything, him and Dave. But like it's even better to actually see that we did do that in my 5 years here.
100%. So, kind of talking a little bit too in terms of, that recruiting, slash, side of your story. So, just to give a little bit of background, obviously with women's tennis, they don't have like with 24/7 football where they, have like the rankings and, a list of all the recruits and, blah, blah, blah. They don't have that for women's tennis. I even tried to look up to see if there's like a women's tennis, like recruiting profile. Doesn't exist. The only thing which I could find was from, I think, your freshman year when you partnered with Anna Rogers, and in the technician article it said that you were a 5-star recruit and the #1 recruit out of Maryland. So just goes to show that there's definitely a lot of room for people buying into the hype of college women's tennis for sure. But kind of tell me in terms of, because they were even talking about, I know when we were watching the national championship broadcast, they were talking about how, NC State women's tennis was, for lack of better terms, a dumpster fire, before, about 5 or 6 years ago. Not even that, probably even before 4 or 5 years ago. And, and so kind of talk to me, because obviously Debbie Yao, I remember that when Coach Earnshaw kind of gave a hats off to Debbie Yao for giving him an opportunity to come to NC State, that one of the things she said is that it's a head scratcher to wonder, just because he was successful at Division II means that he can't be successful at Division I. A guy who won 9 national championships at Division II, I don't necessarily know why other people, waited to pull the trigger, but I'm glad that we got him. So, kind of talk to me in terms of how much of, Coach Earnshaw and that, did you obviously you bought into him and his resume fairly quickly. Did you kind of see that diamond in the rough just like Debbie Yao did?
Yeah, no, it's definitely when I for sure came on my visit. Him and Dave kind of just told me about like my game and how they could help it and just help improve it. And honestly, I think they kind of were like correct with everything, and they kind of did do what they said that we were going to do from when I first got here. Like I think I've definitely improved in my 5 years here.
Oh, for sure.
So yeah, no.
Yeah. And kind of tell me in terms of, I mean, what were some of the big goals that, I mean, that Coach Earnshaw had, talked about? I mean, like, did he have, like, was he talking to you about, compete for, being winning national championships? Like, did he have that vision from the get go when you first started talking with him?
Yeah, no, he definitely did. He did say he wanted to get the program back to, get the program on track to where he was at Division 2.
Mm-hmm.
But he obviously knew it was going to take a couple years. Like it wasn't just going to be me coming into the door and just it happening. Like it did take a couple years. I know my first year, we made the Sweet 16.
Yep.
And that was even like at the time like amazing. I think it was the first time in NC State history we made Sweet 16. So like we kind of just been every year just been improving just, and that's basically what he said. He was like, it's not going to be a 1 year fix. Like it's definitely going to take some time. And do you just want to be along the ride? And I was just like, yeah.
I think it was his first year. I think we won one conference match, and so it's pretty crazy the turnaround.
No, the turnaround's crazy.
What have you seen the most in your game that's improved since at your time at NC State?
With my game, probably just learning how to like play, like to like actually know what to do on the court with like directionals and figuring out what to do at certain points in time, when to take risk, when to not take risk, and certain things like that. Like there's a lot of little things that I just kind of felt I needed help with, like those things. Like I feel like I was maybe at certain times being too aggressive and didn't understand which key, like when is it important to do it, when is it not important, and stuff like that.
Yeah. So kind of help me to, Alana, you kind of peel back an onion here as well, because I know you had kind of said that Coach Earnshaw told you it was going to take a couple of years to really build up the program, bring in, the talent needed in order to compete at the highest level, to build around you. And so being such a highly touted recruit, I mean, first of all, tell me, what were some of the other schools that you were recruited by?
Honestly, it was a lot of like the ACC schools, a lot of the East Coast schools. I think Miami, Georgia Tech, Syracuse.
Was UNC going after you?
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
I don't think I talked to UNC ever. No.
Interesting.
You would not.
I think NC State was the only school in North Carolina I really talked to. I think, yeah.
Okay. Cool. Like Stanford or Iowa State or any of those reach out to you as well?
East Coast, it was kind of the only one I kind of really talked was USC. Southern Cal, I talked to them for a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah, everyone kind of, it was weird because like I really, with like the school stuff, I kind of let my mom kind of handle a lot of that.
Cool.
But like the one thing that kind of just like stood out was like Simon was very persistent with his. I think him and my mom did talk like every day for like a year.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like it was something crazy. So he was very persistent in the recruiting process, I would say.
Well, and that was
funny because when I first was getting recruited, it was Gina who was the assistant coach, and then Dave came. I remember Dave came to a tournament. I was like, I didn't know you were this like. I was like, what happened? He was like, I'm new here. I was like, okay. So then I talked to Dave for a little bit out in California. It's funny, he'll probably say I didn't say any words. I probably didn't. I was really shy back then. So
that's okay. Hey, that's what's up. And yeah, I mean, because that kind of builds off, really the question, which I think is the most important one here, which I wanted to kind of make sure we peel back that, layer of the onion on, which is, again, Coach Earnshaw said it was going to take a couple of years to, to build up. And with you being such a highly touted recruit, it had to have been, like there had to have been something that really made you confident, and you kind of talked about it, the relationship, but also to the persistence that Coach Earnshaw had. Is there anything else that you would kind of attribute to really kind of helping you really feel super confident that come your sophomore, your junior year, that you're going to be competing at that highest level nationally? Anything else you kind of attribute to?
You know what? It was just, I just trusted what they were saying. And even on my visit, when I got to know everyone and meeting the team, like we really connected. And then everyone had the same type of goals that I had. So it kind of was like everyone wanted to work hard and get to, like, everyone wanted to see the program get built up. So I think that was kind of what mainly got me to commit to state.
Gotcha. Yeah. No. Okay. Cool. So, kind of talking about, being from Maryland originally, and coming to Raleigh. What was your original reaction when you had come to the Raleigh area? I mean, did you like it? Did you enjoy it, or did it take a little time to adjust?
No, I actually enjoyed it. It's honestly kind of similar to Maryland. I don't know if you guys ever been to Maryland. Like, it's not that big of a difference for me, especially where I lived. I kind of live in the suburbs of Maryland, so like being in Raleigh, kind of like Cary is kind of like almost like it's really nice. And it's kind of the same vibes. That was good. I also didn't want to be too far from home, so that was another big factor. Like, Raleigh's only a 4-hour drive for me to come back to Maryland, so.
Gotcha. Okay. So
that's like kind of like all of those.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's good to know. And kind of talking about your first years as well. One of the most, I guess, the first place where your name really started to pop up was when you got paired up with Anna Rogers, and you guys were at one point ranked as the number one doubles duo in the country. Went 20-2, was just killing it. Would you attribute that a lot to, just the leadership that Anna had? It seemed like from what I was reading that you guys definitely had that chemistry for sure. And then kind of a piggyback off of that is that since she was such a senior player and you were a newer player, when the roles were reversed with you and Diana this year, did you kind of see some similarities where you kind of took over the Anna role and then Diana kind of was what you were at that time?
Yeah, no, Anna definitely was. It was definitely fun my first couple of years because even with the COVID situation, she got to stay for another year. So it was kind of funny having to go I only was supposed to play with her for 2 years. We ended up playing for 3 years. But cool. No, she was definitely a big part in having so much fun at state because we won so much in doubles. Like it was crazy. Like we walk on the court, we were so confident walking out on the court. We were just like, oh yeah, we got this. Like we're a lot at one for sure.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
But yeah, no, definitely with playing with Anna and then having to be, because I was the younger person on the court. Like I kind of took a step back and let Anna kind of just run things, and just watching her do her thing. And then with Diana, I had to be more of the controller on the court because she is the younger one and I'm like probably the more experienced doubles player in the world. So like that's one thing the coaches were saying. Like I had to step up and tell her what to do, even though like she can handle her own. Like, I mean, she can hit some shots out there. I'm just like, what the hell? Like I'll look at her sometimes and be like, what was that? Like, yeah. So like, but I still had to make sure like I was like helping her out and showing her the ropes of what we do. Cause like we just run a system. So she just had to follow the system and I had to be able to make sure she was following the system.
Yeah. Before we continue, I want to take a quick second to tell you about our sponsor, Flatlands Jessup Insurance Group, that has your whole world covered, with agents in 5 offices throughout eastern North Carolina to help you decide how much coverage you need. Offering policies for home and auto, recreational vehicles, commercial, crop, health, life, and employee benefits. They are able to combine options to find a comprehensive solution that works for you. Flatlands Jessup protects the things you love so you can spend less time worrying and more time enjoying them. Find them on Facebook and Instagram at Flatlands Jessup. You can also visit their webpage at www.flatlandsjessup.com. So please make sure to go and check them out. And kind of talk about that too, because I remember, when we had kind of previewed women's and men's tennis for this year, we had on Brian Rosenthal, former men's tennis player at NC State. And when he was talking about Diana, who, again, at the time was ranked as a top 100, top 90, depending on where you look, women's tennis player in the whole country, regardless of age, whatever, that even Brian was saying like he would be shocked if Diana came just because, she could easily just go ahead and go pro and start making money. But she ended up coming, once after the season had already started. So kind of talk me through that. Like, what was the conversations like? Cause I'm sure it's very odd that you start the season. I don't know necessarily if you knew or not whether she was coming. So kind of talk me through. I mean, how did those conversations go with the coaches? And, what was your, thoughts? Because obviously it's tough to get chemistry because she didn't even come until after season had already started. So it's not like you had preseason to work together and get that chemistry going beforehand. You had to go quickly.
Yeah, so I remember back Diana committed, was it summer or something like, and
Yeah.
when she committed it was like she was like 300, just like, okay, we were like, okay, she's coming. Then she started winning, like, so she actually came in the fall, and so me and her were traveling. Me, her, and Dave were traveling to all the tournaments in the fall. So all like the pro stuff in the fall. So, and then we would play doubles in those tournaments too. So that's probably
cool.
what some people don't know. So we kind of like, me and her were building a connection. Like I will say our first couple matches were a little rough. Like I'm not gonna say we were doing good. Like it definitely took a little while to get it going. And that was during the time I have just came back. Like I just started playing again, and they threw me in there. Okay, you're playing doubles with Diana. I was like, I have barely hit a tennis ball. You want me to play doubles in these pro tournaments with Diana? I was like, okay, Lord, it was rough. Okay,
cool.
But yeah, no, we so me and her, Dave, were traveling a lot in the fall, and then by the springtime, like we all kind of were like, okay, yeah, she's playing. Like she said, like she would tell us all, oh, I'm playing for you guys. Like I want to play. So like we knew, but I guess obviously like no one else knew. But the problem is she wasn't eligible yet. So that was kind of a blow that she didn't get eligible till like, I don't know, was that February, March? Or?
Yeah,
it was after we played bandy, and we sadly took that bandy loss. But I mean, if we would have had her, we definitely wouldn't have lost.
Yeah.
But and then we would have made indoors, and then I mean, it probably would have helped us out a little bit with the rankings. Like I don't think the rankings would have. That bandy loss definitely kind of messed us up a little bit. But yeah, no, she definitely told us the whole time, like, I want to play, I want to play, I want to play. So we all knew she wanted to play, and we were just waiting for her to, we were like, just waiting, can they please get her eligible, please get her eligible. So, because we knew we had a really good team, and if we add her into the mix, we're like, okay, we're solid.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, it was basically like almost like a joke that, Brian Rosenthal and I would literally message each other, throughout each match of the NCAA tournament. It was like, okay, well, we know one thing's for sure. We're going to go at least 1-0 in doubles, and we're going to at least start off winning one single point from Diana at least.
Same mindset we have. We have the same mindset. We were like, okay, we're going 2-0 on everyone. We just need 2 more.
Yeah, right. Exactly. We just need to find 2 more.
That was going to be one of my questions. Like you mentioned having how much fun and confidence you had playing with Anna. Like, it seemed like you had that kind of carried over into this year with you and Diana, because you could pretty much just bank on, okay, ALANA and Diana are going to win one match. You just got to win one of the other 2.
We just need one of the others. No, yeah, we definitely were thinking that. Me and Diana played pretty good together, so we knew. I think we only lost 2 matches this year, and the 2 matches we did lose, we just played awful. So we knew if we could just hit the ball in the court and play decent, we were like, okay, we have a good chance of winning.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I don't know what our record was. I know we only lost twice this year.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good.
So I mean, kind of talk to me in terms of, I mean, is there any talks about, like, I don't know too much about the professional tennis scene, but I mean, like, were there any talks of like, man, we can go pro and play doubles tennis together and keep this thing going? Like, is that the talks at all?
We haven't really talked too much about that, like, because obviously she is like, she definitely won't be playing the same terms I'll be playing. But like, I know this one, we tried to play with each other in the it was after ACCs. We went to UVA to play like a 60K.
Yeah.
And we signed up for doubles, but things we just didn't get in because my ranking's just too low right now. So so that's the thing. Like, I think if I can get my ranking up and we're at the same tournament, like, I think like for sure, like, I'd love to play with her, and I hope she'd love to play with me. But I think we would. For sure. I just got to get my ranking up, and then we can go together.
That works. Yeah. And kind of talk to me too, like, again, and we'll definitely kind of jump back to you, but, kind of talking about Diana, because I mean, definitely, I love to see how even you're like hyping up Diana, being like, yeah, no, she's the real deal. Like, some of her shots were ridiculous. And, because one of the other things that Brian Rosenthal said as well is that in his opinion, he says that talent-wise, that Diana is the best athlete, regardless of sport, talent-wise, to ever wear the red and white. Which I was like, dang, Brian, that's a heck of a statement right there. With David Thompson with basketball, with Philip Rivers with football, and you saying that Diana Schneider, freshman, is the most talented player to ever wear the red and white. He was like, I'm telling you, Like I've seen it, and I mean what she's done at her age is unreal. And so I mean, like, do you being a tennis person yourself, somebody who's played with her, would you back up that claim? I mean, would you be in that corner with that?
I mean, shoot. I mean, I'll be in the corner.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough for all sports, but definitely for tennis. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, she's
Yeah.
just like the
Tennis,
things she
no
can do
doubt.
on the court is just it's crazy. Like, trust me, we practice with her, and there's some things she does at practice where I'm like, what? What
Yeah.
was that?
Yeah,
So
no, absolutely.
yeah, no, for sure.
Cool. Well, so again, so we're going to take a pause right there. Oh, actually, you know what? Let me ask one more question. Like one of the funniest stories that I loved from this year was, I think it was the match. It was an ACC match. I think it was Virginia, where it rained and we had to go inside. And I remember watching. I was watching Diana's match, and inside. For those who haven't seen the match inside, basically the fans are on, instead of watching from up top, you're basically watching like right behind where the tennis players play. And I remember Diana was on our side, and at one point she made a mistake or something like that, lost a point or whatever it was, and she turned around, started cussing. I would assume cussing in Russian, and like, did you? Because I laughed. I like was like, what the heck? And I mean, so
Yeah.
did you chuckle at that at first, and did it take some getting used to? Like, how often would she do that?
Yeah, no, she's so funny. The thing Diana, she cracks me up because she'll say like she says a lot of like curse words in English, but like when you speak a different language, it doesn't have the same effect on you.
Yeah.
So she'll say it all the time, just throw out word. It is the funniest thing ever. Like it's so funny, and she's like, "What's like?" Because I'm always laughing at her. She's like, "What's so funny?" I'm just like, "You're funny."
Yeah.
But yeah, she does it all the time. Like you just gotta.
Yeah.
You just take it, and then she just knows. She's just like it's not. She's not even cursing at this point. She's just saying words.
I gotcha. That's awesome. All right, Wolfpack Nation. So for part 2, we're gonna dive back into. I know we kind of went on a tangent there talking about Diana, but I really do want to talk about ALANA and really her, her journey. Obviously talk about this season, this journey that we just got done with, and kind of her impact on the program and next steps for her. So to make sure you do not miss out on part 2 of that of that interview, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, which is free to do, so you do not miss out on any of our new NC State Tuffy Talk content. And if you enjoyed this conversation, hit that like button. And also to ALANA, we will as well, we will have in the description below all of the links to your social media as well. So Wolfpack Nation, make sure to go follow ALANA as she continues her journey through the pros and whatever comes next, again, which we'll dive into here in part 2. But make sure to tune in for then, and we'll see y'all soon. Go Pack, y'all.